For this video, we're looking at the weird, wacky, and sometimes totally unhinged fighters who always seem to inhabit the sport of MMA. From the world champions, to the underrated fan favorites, and everything in between. These are the wildest personalities with the craziest fighting styles. Our top 10 craziest fighters in MMA history. What is it that makes Johnny Walker such a wild man? Well, when he's not pretending to trip over his own feet during a weigh-in, or accidentally injuring himself when celebrating a win, he's also one of the UFC's most colorful characters. Walker doesn't just act like a crazy person on the mic, he fights like one too. Living by the sword and dying by the sword is pretty much the story of Walker's MMA career. That could only be sustained for so long. But long before we had Johnny Walker, there were other totally unhinged brawlers making the rounds on the global MMA scene.
Gave her one of those Jet Li kicks in the face. It was nice. I fight them all.
Thankfully, in the broadcast booth, we have the button that can turn down.
You don't get a nickname like Krazy Horse without earning it. Hell, even his second nickname, Felony, gives you an idea of what you're dealing with. Charles Bennett has one of the wildest track records in the business when it comes to backstage fights, unsanctioned brawls, and some pretty nasty legal issues. Inside the cage, it's more of the same. In his 31 wins, only 3 were by decision. And when you factor in that he has a staggering 47 losses and still competes at the age of 45, it's pretty clear that that's the last of a dying breed. But how could we make a list of crazy fighters without at least giving a mention to our number 8 pick?
I'm back. Now everything's good, fine. We're gonna kill everybody.
Khamzat Chimaev is the perfect mix of totally unhinged, psychopath-level tendencies, and world-class talent. Sure, he's calmed himself down quite a lot ever since the birth of his first child, but Chimaev is truly a different beast compared to his contemporaries. This is the man who marked a comeback fight in history by picking up the top 15 ranked Li Jingliang, carrying him across the cage so he could talk to Dana White. He is no stranger to a backroom brawl too. And even though his title-winning performance at 185 pounds was a little more drawn out, he is one of the most fearsome first-round fighters in MMA history. Our number 7 pick is a whirlwind of energy outside and inside the octagon.
What a good day. What a stupid accident.
Merab Dvalishvili is definitely the wild man of his generation. There is no denying that he has the greatest cardio in MMA history. It's not even a debate anymore. But it's the other stuff that really seals his spot on this list. He just doesn't run out of energy. He seems genuinely eager to experience life. There was even a rumor that he sparred 5 full live rounds on the same day he beat Corey Sandhagen. If you know anything about fight week prep and risk management, this is a totally insane thing to do, especially as a champion. Merab does stuff like this all the time though. But long before Merab rose to the top of the sport, there was another cardio freak doing the rounds in the UFC.
I got something coming for him. I'm gonna bitch slap that dude, I'm gonna hit him twice in the stomach, I'm gonna make him piss blood, and then he's gonna give me 20 fucking...
Tony Ferguson can make this top 10 based on his fighting style alone. A bizarre modern take on Wing Chun, Kung Fu, and some styles that are unique to Ferguson. But he's also one of the wildest characters imaginable outside of the cage too. El Cucuy is ruthless with the media and his fellow fighters, and has become one of the most quotable athletes in the sport. Sure, he has probably taken a few too many headshots over the years, but Ferguson is the type of character that the fans can't help but love. A genuinely quirky dude with a real mean streak. But El Cucuy is not the only legend from the 2010s who deserves a spot on our list.
You are the man. And look who's in to celebrate with us.
You could find a top 5 spot for Conor McGregor if you looked only at the first half of his career, or if you focused only on his post-injury phase. He's a genuine madman at times, totally unafraid to bend the law, break the rules, or indulge his party animal side a little bit too much at times. Conor is notorious by name and notorious by nature, and no fighter in MMA history has had as many truly insane moments as he has had. Even when he's inevitably finished as a fighter, do not expect to see him any less in the headlines. For as much as Conor's nickname, The Notorious, was the perfect choice for him, our number 4 might have outdone him in the name department.
Gets going in the cage, and this is what happens.
Jason Mayhem Miller was MMA's most unhinged fighter during their golden era. He most certainly lived up to his nickname too, and his legal rap sheet contains some of the craziest stuff imaginable. In the cage, he was always a threat too, but it was his backstage brawls, unhinged meltdowns, and constant controversies that got him on this list. And he was a pretty big crossover star too, thanks to MTV's Bully Beatdown. Miller was a hero within a very different age for MMA, and those who remember his best years remember them fondly. But if there's one fighter who embodies the warrior spirit more than anyone, it's our number 3 pick.
That's it. Wanderlei smiling at him, and that is it.
You don't get a nickname like the Axe Murderer unless you've got some real darkness in you. And while outside of the ring or cage, Wanderlei was not as abrasive as some of these other guys, when the time came to be mean, no one was meaner. Wanderlei tended to look like a genuine psychopath in those last moments before the fight, and his aptitude for brutality in the ring was truly insane, especially in his best years in Pride. Soccer kicks were a speciality too, which just made the whole thing even more gruesome. A legendary 205-pound warrior. But if you're looking for the most uniquely strange fighter to ever lace up gloves, look no further.
Crazy guy. You're telling me, dude. This guy is funky Bill Medina. He's just totally turning his back to him.
Genki Sudo was truly the real deal. For those who are too young to remember, everything Sudo did was a spectacle. He had the best walkouts in the game, the craziest fighting style in the game, and somehow it all worked. He was undeniably elite, and his wacky fighting style was genuinely confusing to his opponents. Sure, his UFC run was up and down, but he still left the sport with a strong pro record. And it should come as no surprise that he went on to become a politician and a huge pop star in Japan following his retirement. But there's only one man who is bizarre and brutal enough inside and outside of the cage to take the top spot.
With some major momentum, 2 straight.
Is there a crazier athlete in UFC history who still managed to be an elite fighter in his prime? Diego Sanchez was an excellent mixed martial artist in his heyday, known for winning the Ultimate Fighter and showcasing some of the wildest BJJ in the game. However, even then, Diego was a bit of a weird dude, but man did it intensify as the years went on. From his insane walkouts, to his fights with Gilbert Melendez and Clay Guida, to his later years and that whole ordeal with Joshua Fabia, Sanchez fights like a wild man and might just have a few screws loose in his head as well. But who do you think are the craziest fighters in MMA history, both in terms of their personality and their fighting style? Let us know in the comments below. Enjoy this video? Be sure to smash the sub button and stick around and support the channel by checking out some of our other uploads. Thanks for watching.